goes without saying that LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga is pretty much considered the greatest LEGO game and always will be. I've always loved collecting LEGOs myself, but never really cared for LEGO games aside from the LEGO Chima one we got on the 3DS and Vita. So while I don't typically play LEGO games as I tend to find them very boring, I did actually love The Complete Saga growing up, or more specifically the DS version, because yes, it's quite a lot different. As a kid, I owned 2 games on the DS, LEGO Star Wars and New Super Mario Bros, and not much else aside from a shovelware Scooby-Doo game. So on field trips, I was stuck playing the same 2 games over and over again, but honestly, it never really bothered me. Something about the DS version of this game had me addicted, while I didn't really care for the Wii and PS3 version. While I have revisited the console version of this game plenty of times, it has been like 7 or 8 years since I played the DS version, and I'm feeling a little nostalgic, so I decided it's time to 100% this game. From a first glance, it looks identical to the console versions, just looks and sounds worse due to audio compression. Character models kind of look the same, the hub world is quite similar, just a bit smaller. Seems promising. Okay, so the cutscenes look like they were made on Windows 3D Movie Maker, in fact, quite a bit worse. But actually playing the level is a much more cramped version of the console levels, and I mean that literally. For a lot of this game, before getting access to free play and finishing getting a lot of the collectibles, some areas are so cramped you can cheese some collectibles early, like this mini kit here for example. Normally you're supposed to beat the level, then return on free play mode with the character with a grappling hook so you can get on this platform and collect it, but thanks to the level's smaller design, you can actually just double jump onto it instead. Oh, and speaking of collectibles, some were actually replaced in this game. Due to the DS's limited capabilities, they had to remove some extra areas where mini-kits would be available, and were replaced with a PNG of grapes with sunglasses plastered onto a white slab, and getting 3 of each in a level grants a mini-kit. Before moving on to level 2, I figured I would put in some cheat codes because, let's be honest, it's the best part of LEGO games, but strangely enough, there aren't any cheat code options for the DS version, which was a little odd. It's in pretty much every LEGO game, but alright. And this is where the game started to have huge differences. First off, we immediately start the level playing as Padme and skip over the entire grass area where we play as Jar Jar Binks. And after we beat the level, for some reason we just unlock him with no need to purchase. Like what? Other than that section being removed, the level stayed pretty much the same. I did have to backtrack a lot though, as studs are pretty scarce here and I needed to achieve True Jedi, but this game has another alternative towards 100% completion, and that's needing to get True Jedi on story versions and free play versions separately for some reason. You didn't have to do that on the consoles, but alright. Moving on to level 3, the pod races. Another moment of a major change in this version, which you probably already noticed. You play in a top-down perspective instead, with a few changes of the level structure. This is probably one of the few times I'd actually prefer this version's level design, as this carries over for any vehicle-based level or space level. I don't know why, but on the console version of this game, I never really liked the space levels or anything, but this game has more of an Ikaruga style for the levels, just way less intense, and honestly, it's quite a lot better in my opinion. Although strangely enough, this version is a whole lot easier. The pod racing on the console version always gave me trouble for some reason, but here I died like 50 times, but still managed to win and get every collectible at once. Level 4 also introduces some changes, and another better one at that. Some of you may remember this level was pretty big on the console version. You have to deal with solving puzzles using like 7 other bots, and they can be pretty irritating to deal with, especially when in order to use another character, you have to manually find them and swap bodies with them. But in the DS version, not only is there only one bot deployed at a time, but you can swap with whoever you want, wherever you want, with the push of a button. The best use of this was actually in level 1, since in the console version, usually you need to find the silver C-3PO guy, and take a soul or something and walk like 8 billion miles just to open a single door. But here I can just push a button and bam, no pointless walking at a snail's pace. Another thing I noticed is the touchscreen. There's literally no use for it for the most part. All it is to see who's on your team, and if you're using a Jedi or a Sith. But anytime you go near something that you can use the Force on, a Force bubble thing starts to activate, which I think I notice it better on the object itself by just playing the game, but that's cool I guess. Oh, and you can't see how many hearts you have, so it's literally impossible to tell if you're about to die or not. Now we move on to the final level, level 5, which brings up another thing. This version of the game only has 5 levels per movie rather than 6 for some odd reason. Overall, this level stayed pretty much the exact same as the console versions, but in the fight with Darth Maul, the camera is absolutely fried. No, really, I could barely see where I was or where Darth Maul was. For Prequel Movie 2, there isn't too much new here, but in level 2, not only was the level design almost completely different, but we also got to see some touchscreen minigames. Sometimes, typically if it's for a collectible, using the character code door things, a minigame minigame will start. Like that, turning this wheel to match Lego bricks, card matching bricks, catching the falling brick that matches the prompt, which these definitely got old after having to do it 500 times, but it's pretty neat nonetheless. Oh, and I almost forgot, Yoda has a new Lego design and it's somehow even worse. Another thing that came up is due to the levels being very compact, there would be times where you would need to traverse across very small platforms, and my stupid bot partner would follow right behind me and push me off cliffs, killing me. This happens a ton, by the way, and it genuinely got annoying after a while for how often this happens. Also, sometimes you would need to do partner puzzles, but the bot would straight up just refuse to help, so I had to somehow be fast enough to do them myself at times. For the flying level, similar to the grip collectibles, since the levels were smaller, they couldn't fit in all 10 mini kits, so each flying level was divided into stages 1 through 3, like 3 stages within one level, and clearing each one without dying a single time grants a mini kit. This honestly sounded pretty rough, as I vividly remember having a hard time beating these levels at all as a kid, but these weren't really hard at all. For the Count Dooku fight, other than the level being crazy short, my bot partner wouldn't even bother fighting. He would just sit there and watch us fight. So when I had to do puzzles like using the Force on something, just so I could do it, I had to somehow get Count Dooku stuck on an object to complete the puzzle for how stupid the bot is in this game, like holy crap. For the final prequel movie set of levels, it doesn't add much, and surprisingly, all the levels here were crazy short for some reason. But one highlight will always be the final level going against Anakin. Console version or not, this level always goes hard. Before moving on to the original trilogy, I figured why not and decided to 100% the prequels now. I was initially planning on saving up for the 2x studs red brick, but I realized I would probably have to find it somewhere in free play, so I'd most likely get it sooner if I did free play right now. For free play, I needed to buy a Sith and Jango Fett so I could clear every puzzle, and that's about it. Still not really sure why there are 2 separate Jedi bars to fill up, but because of this, going through and 100%ing every level somehow took even longer to do than just playing the game normally. Overall, it is a LEGO game, let alone a DS version, so there's not really much to go over. Although, since now I had access to doors to unlock that are optional, I had to do those minigame things so many times. It was cool at first, but man, it did get annoying after a while, since you have to do it for every single door you open, and some levels you have like 8 to unlock. Also, during this I discovered a weird glitch. Once I was done 100%ing everything, at least once, I thought I was missing 1 gold brick because apparently I missed a true Jedi, but it says I got all of them, but it wasn't marked as complete. So I had to go back to the level and get true Jedi on it a second time for it to load as complete and get 2 gold bricks. Overall, it was a good thing I decided to 100% the prequels first, as the 2x stud red brick was actually in one of the levels here, and by the time I was done and started the original trilogy, I could already afford it from all the true Jedi grinding I had to do. Movie 4 was also shockingly short, but also kinda boring. Now I hate to say it, but the locations of each level and even just its design was kinda mid. And because of this, I decided to just speedrun the levels and not worry too much about the collectibles, as I'd have to get them all again anyway for the free play mode. Thanks to the 2x stud brick, it allowed me to hurry and unlock all the free play levels for the next 3 movies without risking and losing out on a true Jedi. Also, I don't know if it's because I was rushing the levels too hard or what, but somehow the bot partners here got 1,000 times worse. Nearly every level, the stupid guy would push me off ledges and cost me awesome blue studs, and wouldn't complete puzzles, and made beating bosses take longer than it has any right to. Although, the start of The Empire Strikes Back had a pretty cool level where you gotta take down AT-ATs, but the only strange thing here was in order to take one down, you need to swipe your thumb around the AT-AT's legs for it to fall, even though the animation stays literally the exact same. Also, the fact that it says to use your thumb and not a stylus is pretty strange. Also, considering every other touchscreen based sequence tells you to use the stylus, same goes for every single DS game. So it's pretty funny seeing this one random part of the game telling you to use your thumb for some reason. For the Return of the Jedi, this would be the best part of the whole game, considering you get to use the Ewoks, cause you know, they're based. But for the Emperor Palpatine fight, you and your bot need to work together, but the bot refuses to do literally anything, hindering the whole level. It makes me angry! Since I rushed this part, there isn't too much I noted, so there isn't really anything to say, and the levels here really were shorter for some reason. Even when I went on free play mode to 100% the levels, they were so much shorter than the prequel levels. Speaking of free play mode, now that I cleared the game, now was time to 100% everything. It's a LEGO game, so what is there to say, right? Although the original trilogy had far more space and running levels with mini kits I need to get by not dying, and there was one level that was actually crazy difficult, and that's the speeder level. Here, not only did I have to kill 12 enemies while chasing them within a time limit, but I was basically one shot if I hit a tree during the sequence, and there are tons of trees. This sequence was genuinely hard, which is slightly shocking for a LEGO game, but I had a pretty easy solution. I'd grind money and get the invincibility red brick. Before that though, I still needed to find the red brick, and on top of that, it's expensive and I still need to buy the money multipliers. During the 100% playthrough, I did eventually make enough money for the 4x studs red brick, but I realized this game was going to take far longer to 100% than I expected, because for some reason, in this version of the game, you can only have one different stud multiplier brick activated at a time. So instead of getting 8x studs all the way to 256x studs, the max I can obtain is 10x studs, which would take like a few hours to save up to. So yeah, this game was going to take a while to 100%. I did eventually get the invincibility red brick before buying the 10x stud one, so I can finish 100%ing every level, and after that it was time to farm money for over 5 hours to purchase everything in the game. When in the console versions, I'd probably be done with it by now. The AT-AT snow level I mentioned before was the fastest way to farm money in this game thanks to its smaller scale, and the fact that it spams you with money. I'm not sure how much studs I needed to 100% the game, but I was grinding for an entire day to buy everything. So, with everything purchased and every level 100% completed, we still got 12 more gold bricks to obtain, something entirely unique to this version of the game. 12 of the red bricks I got simply gave me access to a minigame that you play using the touchscreen, and mastering each minigame grants a gold brick. These minigames remind me a lot of the Super Mario 64 DS and New Super Mario Bros. Minigames. In fact, some of the games are actually identical, like this C-3PO one, where you need to move along this wave thing to avoid stormtroopers. It's a lot like the Snowman minigame. Now, all these minigames were honestly pretty fun, but these were not easy to get the gold brick on. In fact, it's the hardest part of this game, and if this game had a platinum, I'd probably rate it a 5.5 out of 10 difficulty thanks to these minigames. Most were kinda simple, but this pod racer one required you to clear each section in the fastest time possible. No joke, you literally had to play perfect, and you gotta clear it in under 49 seconds. This took literally forever to master, and this is only 1 out of 12 minigames. Another example is this lightsaber one. There is a level-based one where it's separated into 5 parts, and you simply just need to beat it, but then there's the endless survival. This took me probably an hour or two to clear, and honestly most minigames were brutal, but after some time in practice, I got them all done and 100%ed this game. Crap, still a youngling? Holy crap, you have to go freaking ham on this. Jeez. Yo, this is getting quick, bro. This is getting crazy. They're going faster now. Ah. No! 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 No, I don't want to do that. I'm not doing that right now, bro. That is stupid, bro. Holy crap, you need a crazy score. Holy. Oh my word. Only Jedi Council member, bro. Okay, everyone. We now have the final challenge to do. And it's the levitation challenge. We've already done levitation survival, which survival is arguably way, way harder. So, yeah, and I actually had a lot of fun with this one. I don't really think this will be that bad. So, let's do it, man. Bro, if I end up dying on level 5, I'm gonna cry. Ugh. Okay. I think I can still maybe clutch up here, but it's gonna be really hard. Oh, man. Well, I was starting to clutch up until that. Jeez, how long is level 5, bro? No freaking way. That's sad. Come on, where's the Yoda? Yo, that was the last one. Maybe. There's the 100%, baby. Whew. Oh, man. That was a long grind, you guys. That was a long grind. At least it felt very long. So, there you have it, the 100% completion by probably the most obscure version of the complete saga. Okay, maybe it isn't that obscure, especially when you look at the different versions of LEGO Star Wars 2, but this game has quite a lot of differences, some being good, some being bad, and some being straight up awesome. Like a feature I haven't even mentioned, where if you have another friend with a DS, you can connect and play with them on separate DSs, and the friend doesn't even need to own the game. But is this version actually worth playing? Honestly, not really. While some features are unique and quite fun, like the minigames and Connect Play, the fact that its only novelty is being able to play on the go kind of falls apart once you realize the better version of this game is available on the iPhone. But honestly, I still have a lot of nostalgia for this game, so even though it's probably a waste of time to play, I'll still forever cherish this version. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope to see you all in the next video.